with your first look at the day's top stories and the forewarned forecast. This is News 4 at 4.
We begin News 4 at 4:30 with another look at that gorgeous peek over downtown Buffalo from high atop our tower cam. It has been a great way to finish off what has been a gross week, a gross month. How are you doing? I mean, I feel like you guys have been beat up maybe just a little bit. Of course, the weather's not your fault, but you often do kill the messenger, and
yeah.
You guys are the messenger.
It's not been the best month.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really animated and excited about this weather. And this weekend in particular, I'll take credit for it.
Absolutely.
This is, I control the weather this weekend. This past month, not so much, but now I'm taking over. Why not? Beautiful look at downtown Buffalo. Lots of sunshine. I tell you what, temperatures are still about 15 degrees below average. The sunshine, though, makes a huge difference. It feels pretty nice out there this afternoon. Still grab those jackets, though. It's going to be a cool evening. Clear skies up at Niagara Falls. Things finally looking a little bit more like spring, and it will be feeling more like spring throughout the upcoming weekend. Satellite just showing a few clouds leaving the hills in Wyoming and Allegheny counties. The skies will continue to clear tonight. Big area of high pressure moving in, and that's going to control our weather. Mainly clear skies over the next 72 hours at least. Temperature-wise right now, as I mentioned, not quite there yet. 41 here in Buffalo. We should be around 57 as a high. So, yeah, we're still lagging behind, and even some 30s showing up across the southern tier where we had a few more clouds earlier today. Not too much of a wind, just a little bit of a breeze out of the west for the most part. It's enough to keep the lakeshore communities a little bit cooler, and that will be the case throughout this weekend. Here's what the temperatures will be doing under those clear skies. As I mentioned, it's going to be a little bit cooler tonight, so any of your Friday night plans, still make sure you're dressing nice and warm. Temperatures get back below freezing, and many areas even in the 20s, especially across the interior valleys. So a cool start to your Saturday morning, but a nice, comfortable finish. Temperatures back upper 40s, and I think a lot of areas low 50s, with the exception, again, of the lakeshore communities. It's going to be a little bit cooler there. But still below average. Temperatures will continue to rebound over the next few days, and we'll be back above average by Monday. Skies mostly clear and cool for tonight. Coming up in your full forewarned forecast, again, that stretch of nice weather continues. We'll talk about even warmer weather and above average temperatures. I'll let you know how long this fair weather stretch will last in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, thanks very much. Don't forget, you can get the latest forecast right in the palm of your hand at any time by downloading our Forewarned Weather app. It has hourly forecasts you can customize right to your neighborhood, and our live Forewarned Doppler radar, something you will not be needing over the next couple of days, as Andrew just mentioned. Also, don't forget, it is free for your phone and your tablet. But we're not the only ones keeping an eye on that forecast, hoping for warmer weather. There's another code blue tonight. And the organizers with the Western New York Coalition for the Homeless say this cooler than usual spring is really putting a strain on those in the community. News 4's Ali Ingersoll sat down with coalition leaders.
As you can see, many people are bundled up today in downtown Buffalo as it's another cold spring day here, and that means another code blue. Organizers say this is the latest they've ever had to call for code blues, and it's starting to take a toll on their resources and volunteers.
This has been a little much, not more than we can handle.
It's been a long winter for Nadia Pizarro, the co-chair of the Western New York Coalition for the Homeless. 112 times this season, she and other volunteers have been spending late nights on the streets, helping those in the community who are homeless find shelter.
It's a labor of love. Our staffing has gone every single night and continues to be committed until the season is over, but it has been quite a season this year.
On average this year, more than 100 people have found safety in shelters each time a code blue is declared. Pizarro says that's down from last year and credits the community's assistance to step up and help people find affordable housing. This is the second year for Code Blue 32, where the shelters and warming centers open when it's at or below freezing. The organizers rely on resources from the state, city, and grants from partners, which all provide funding for Code Blue.
We provide food every night, the washing of all the linens and making sure that people every night have a clean a bed to sleep in or cot to sleep in, making sure that they have clean blankets and things like that. There's all cost to that, but we've been able to piece it all together.
And for the second straight year, the city is reporting they haven't had any weather-related deaths in the homeless community. making Pizarro say these long days are worth it.
What we're doing is working, that all the passion pays off.
While Nadia says they have enough resources available to last them a few more Code Blues, they are hopeful that they will not have to call anymore for the rest of this season. Reporting from downtown Buffalo, Allie Ingersoll, News 4.
Allie, thank you. The secret memos former FBI Director James Comey wrote after his meetings with President Donald Trump are now public. Comey, in them, says that he decided early on he needed to document his interactions with the president. The day after his first meeting, Comey sent his first memo to top FBI officials. Comey writes that he typed the notes, quote, immediately upon exiting Trump Tower, end quote, where he had briefed Mr. Trump alone, warning him that, quote, the Russians allegedly had tapes involving him and prostitutes.
First meeting in particular, I was concerned that I needed a record to show the other intelligence agency chiefs who had been with me but didn't stay behind for the second private meeting.
President Trump responded to the memos on Twitter this morning, saying they clearly show there was no collusion with Russia and no attempt to obstruct justice. A small county in North Florida is mourning the loss of 2 sheriff's deputies in a double murder. Officials say a gunman ambushed the officers Thursday while they were having lunch. The officers and alleged gunman were all found dead at the scene. Sergeant Noel Ramirez and Deputy Taylor Lindsay were eating lunch at a Chinese restaurant in downtown Trenton, Florida, when police say John Hubert Highnote fired at them through a window.
If you ever seen Sergeant Ramirez smile, infectious. They don't need to be remembered strictly for their untimely death, but they need to be remembered for the type of people that they are.
Deputies arrived at the scene to find the officers dead inside the restaurant and the suspect dead outside the restaurant. The sheriff called the alleged gunman a coward, but he would not say how he died. Law enforcement officials have released new information about the Minnesota grandmother accused of killing 2 people. She is now in police custody in a resort town off the southern coast of Texas. Laura Podesta reports on what led to her capture.
The U.S. Marshals say a tip led them to 56-year-old Lois Reese at a restaurant on South Padre Island, Texas. Reese was on the run, wanted for murder in 2 states.
We look at her appearance. She looks like anybody's mother or grandmother, yet she's an absolute cold-blooded murderer.
Police say she killed her husband in their Minnesota home in late March. The same day, she was spotted on surveillance video at a gas station asking for directions.
If you want to start heading south, would you take 35 south just to keep going on down to the next state?
Reese drove nearly 1,300 miles to Florida, where police believe she befriended Pamela Hutchinson in Fort Myers Beach. 4 days later, Hutchinson was found dead inside her condo.
Ms. Hutchinson was targeted by the suspect due to the similarities in their appearance.
Investigators say Reese then drove along the Gulf Coast with sightings in Louisiana and Texas until she was arrested Thursday, 27 miles from the Mexico border. Pamela Hutchinson's cousin spoke with CBS News about Reese's arrest.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to get upset, but this is a relief. This is a relief. This is the closure we need.
Investigators say Reese had a gambling problem, which may have been the motive behind the murders. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Barbara Bush's body lies in repose today at St. Martin's Episcopal Church in Houston. What you're seeing now is a live look at the viewing that is happening in Texas. The public is invited to pay respects to the former First Lady who died on Tuesday at the age of 92. Former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, as well as current First Lady Melania Trump, are scheduled to attend her official invitation-only funeral, and that is set for this Saturday. Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth continues to break barriers. Last night, she became the first senator to vote on Capitol Hill with a baby at her side. Duckworth is also the first sitting senator to give birth while still in office. Wednesday night, the Senate changed a rule that banned children on the Senate floor and breastfeeding during votes. Duckworth spearheaded the push for this rule change.
I'm going to take the time that I need with my daughter, but in the middle of all that, there might be days when I have to, we have a lot of close votes right now that I need to come in and not let the people of Illinois down. Right. But then what do I do with my baby? Mm-hmm.
Duckworth says the move sends a message that working parents deserve family-friendly workplace policies. CCS Oncology will close its doors next week. The cancer treatment facility sent a notice to patients informing them of that shutdown. Earlier this month, CCS announced it was filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Offices will close down on April 27th. That is a week from today. Officials say the majority of appointments scheduled after that date will be canceled, but some may be kept during the week of April 30th. Those patients will be contacted individually, we're told. Our Al Vaughters is following this story and will tell us what patients of CCS Oncology need to know moving forward. See that story coming up tonight on News 4 at 6 o'clock. Coming up next on News 4 at 4, new research is shedding light on the long-term impacts of pre-K. The big question, whether a half day or a full day is more effective for your kids. Coming up, we'll take a look at the study that shows the long-term effects of those courses.